The video today is for the guys. We're going to be talking about testosterone. So the first thing that comes to mind when we talk about testosterone is always libido and erectile dysfunction. But testosterone goes way beyond that. And actually, only 19% of the people that have ED have low testosterone. So testosterone has the following functions, very important for cellular growth, repair of cells, so tissue growth, muscle growth, reproduction, immune modulation. It inhibits the synthesis of fat, so that's why women and men have different body composition. So testosterone is responsible for body composition as well, blood pressure regulation, bone density. That's why women have a larger risk of osteoporosis than men do, because testosterone is protective for that. It's also a neuroprotector, and it modulates neuronal aging in the hippocampus, so you don't lose your mind, your memory. It regulates mood, and it can be anti-aging as well because of all these other mechanisms. So a low testosterone is a biomarker, an indirect biomarker for a series of comorbidities, such as it's a direct risk factor for diabetes, it's a risk factor for sleep apnea, Alzheimer's disease patients have low T. It also predicts dementia when you have low T. It predicts mortality from coronary disease, hypertension, atherosclerosis, psoriasis, lupus, RA, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoporosis, and sarcopenia, which means low muscle mass. And so just so you understand, the hypothalamus will secrete something called GnRH, and it'll tell your pituitary to make FSH and LH, which both men and women do, but they have different functions. So FSH in men will tell the ovaries, the certain cells in the ovaries to mature the sperm, and LH will tell the Leydig cells to make T. So just so you understand. And then there's a normal range, lab normal range, that is between 300 and 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. And that would be normal. And below 300 would be kind of like the line on this in the sand saying you have low T. But really, men thrive more around 500 to 600. But it will depend on the symptoms. It'll vary among men. And it also has to be measured, not only total testosterone, but free testosterone, because total testosterone is one thing. A lot of the testosterone is bound to sex hormone binding globulin, and so it doesn't act, right, if it's bound. So you have to measure total and free testosterone so we can know what is available for your cells to be using. And we also need to know about if you are, so two things can go wrong with testosterone basically in the body. It can either aromatize, or meaning it'll become a chemical structure and it'll become estrogen via the enzyme aromatase. That's an easy one to remember. Or it can go down and become DHT, which is dihydrotestosterone. And that is what causes prostate enlargement. And it is also what causes balding. Some forms of balding, not all balding is because of DHT, but a lot of it is. So these are the two main things that can go awry with T, with low T, that we can act on. We can also have a low production of T for many, many reasons, and this we can act on also. So what are the things that decrease T in the man's body and the women's body? A diet rich in carbs, because insulin resistance, insulin itself is one of the things that activate aromatase and activate that enzyme that transforms T into DHT. So it's a double problem. So you definitely want to act there. And then inflammatory diet, because the inflammation will inhibit the cells, the Leydig cells, for them to produce testosterone. Inflammation also can turn on aromatase. Age, unfortunately, as you age, your Leydig cells are just diminishing, and so you're producing less testosterone, but also your sex hormone binding globulin, that thing that attaches to testosterone and doesn't let it act in the body, it goes up with age, and that's just a normal thing, but we can act on that too. There are certain changes in the diet, like a high protein diet, makes SBG come down, for example. So then inflammation, people that are sedentary have low T because weight training causes T to go up. If you're sleeping badly, like not restoratively, and if you're sleeping too little, you don't get enough growth hormone and testosterone pulses during the night. And so that will affect sleep apnea, will affect, you're not getting enough oxygen to your cells, so they're not going to be working. People on statins, unfortunately, because statins decrease cholesterol, and cholesterol is the precursor molecule of all your steroid hormones, all your sex hormones, and all that. People that have medicine and diabetes, 50% of diabetic men have low T. Smoking, because of cadmium. Cadmium is a very big enemy of T, so pollution as well, but that you really can't control. Stress. So stress is an independent thing that affects your T because, like I said before in other videos, stress will produce cholesterol. Well, stress will produce cortisol. Cortisol comes from the same mother molecule called pregnenolone. You need pregnenolone to make cortisol, but you also need pregnenolone to make your women's hormones, progesterone and estrogen, and you need pregnenolone to make T. So if you're always using the mother molecule to make cortisol, you will not have enough to make T. So stress alone will cause low T because of that. It eats up all the substrate. But stress also elevates inflammation, and inflammation decreases T. Stress also turns on aromatase, which will cause you to have low T. And it'll make you have belly fat, and that will cause you to have low T. So it's just stress bad. The chronic use of opioids, this is astounding for me. 74% of chronic opioid users have low T. So maybe try to find something else to manage that pain. Obesity, 52% of obese men have low T. And this is because of many things. So the fat cell itself has aromatase, that enzyme that transforms your T into estrogen. So that's why usually obese men will have less hair in their bodies. They will have less muscle mass. They will have a little bit more of a feminine characteristic. They'll have a man boobs. They'll have that big beer belly. And that beer belly is what is producing so much aromatase, and you're being estrogenized. I don't know how to say that. Your T is transforming into estrogen all the time and obesity will also have your fat, your testicles accumulate fat, and it'll super warm your testicles and you will become infertile. Can become. Again, I will mention cadmium because it is a very big competitor for T, and cadmium, it's not only in cigarettes, but pollution and from wheat and water. So having a good water filter, a good air filter, avoiding wheat products. Other toxins such as bisphenol A. So bisphenol A and many other like parabens and phthalates and things that you apply in your hair, in your skincare products, some cookware leach out phthalates, like Teflon pans. Those little receipt things from your credit card receipts, the little machine thing, that is laden with BPA, and if you keep touching it and playing with it and fidgeting, you get that absorbed in your skin. So try to change up your skincare products if you're having low T, and that should help you not getting extra xenoestrogens, meaning foreign estrogens in your body. So what do you do to enhance T? So weight training, number one, lift heavy things. It really boosts up your T. Interval training has been shown to help as well. Obviously, if you are obese or overweight, you want to lose that fat so that those fat cells are not aromatizing your testosterone to estrogen all the time. You want to sleep well, and you want to sleep early enough so you can have those good pulses of GH and T during the night. Take care of your constipation, your gut. There's a whole bunch of stuff involved with inflammation, with detoxification of the estrogens in your gut going on. So definitely take care of that. And the way you do that, very briefly, is through a good diet, rich in fiber, rich in phytonutrients, not very high in saturated fat. You want to control your stress. so that you can decrease that cortisol. So you can choose a stress management technique for you to do every single day, and you can use, and not or, and you can use adaptogens. Ashwagandha, reishi mushrooms, and cordyceps, they all help you modulate your cortisol. You want to control your blood sugar and your insulin, and the way you do that is just eating a diet that is rich in proteins and good fats and lower in carbs. And don't eat your carbs alone. Always pair it with a good source of fiber, a good source of fats, and so you don't have that insulin spike all the time, because that increases aromatase. You want to detox cadmium if you are intoxicated. There are ways to measure that, and there are ways to detox from that, but selenium can help you immensely to detox from cadmium. You just don't want to be taking supplements without measuring your levels first, because if you have a very, very high selenium level, you don't want to overdo any of the minerals. But optimizing minerals in general, meaning you're going to measure and see if you're low and just take enough to make it to an optimal level. It really helps to combat heavy metals in the body. And good sources of magnesium, well, minerals in general, is pink sea salt, pink Himalayan salt, and all the plants. So all the fruits and veggies. And then there are certain supplements that you can take to block that conversion of testosterone into DHT, the one that causes baldness and hyperplasia, growth of your prostate. And that can be saw palmetto, stinging nettle, Pygeum africanum. And these, obviously, you want to go look at a professional, but I'm just saying that there are ways for you to combat those things. Supplements that will diminish the conversion of T into E. These you can actually take at home. Green tea, resveratrol. So not the alcohol, resveratrol, because alcohol actually turns on aromatase and it transforms your T into E. Fenugreek. Fenugreek is a spice that you can cook with at home, and it's been shown to be very effective anti-aromatase. Boron as well. Zinc is a very good source, and a lot of people deficient in zinc. But again, with minerals, we don't want to be taking crazy doses of minerals because they're all balanced in our body. So if you take too much zinc, you have very low copper, and I mean, just go find somebody that can measure this for you and prescribe you the correct amounts. And then they're removing toxic burden. So to remove the pesticides and the herbicides and those phthalates and those bisphenol A, so eating from plastic, heating up plastic in the microwave and then eating from it, using styrofoam cups with hot coffee, great for your tea, but not. So definitely try to diminish this exposure. And the last thing that I want to say is that men, they want to go to the doctor and they want the doctor to prescribe them tea. So when you get extra tea, it's great, right? There's like many great functions for tea. But if your body is either aromatizing to estrogen or it is transforming it into DHT, you're doing more harm than good giving this man a tea. It will not elevate his T. It will elevate his estrogen and his DHT. So it will give him a problem of a enlarged prostate. If obviously you can't give tea if a person has a prostate cancer active, but so tea replacement can be a good thing. That's the message, is just that we are, a lot of men that have low T because they are inflamed, they are obese, they are insulin resistant, they don't sleep well, and they're stressed. So if you work on that, maybe your T will come up naturally and you don't need an extra source. And if you're going to get an extra source, work on these risk factors, because if you don't, you will not have high T. You will have high estrogen and high DHT. Okay, that was it.